Hello, we are live. So, live and interactive on Sunday, and we are going to be talking about the markets. Hit the like if you haven't hit the like. We're going to be talking about crude and the SPY and gold and coronavirus stocks potentially that could be very hot this week. So, stay tuned. Just gonna wait for some people to come in before I get going. To Hello. So yeah, the market's been very crazy. Crude went from $40 all the way down to $30. So that's freaking wild. Holy silver. Sliver. Hello. If you just got in, appreciate if you hit the like. We're gonna be talking about commodities. Crude just got crushed opening up, and even natural gas. Gold spiked very high. So I'm just gonna read the. It's okay. People who are gonna get in later, that's fine. I'll just start going off anyways. It started off at like 6:29, just being in here for 4 minutes. So we're gonna get into this. So gold's trading at 16.99, and it hit a 1703 for a high, and silver just is starting to go down, and it was at 17.22, and it hit a high of 17.6, and rough rice 12.865, and aluminum's at 1676 per ton, so that's pretty low. It's down 9.5, but it's been as high as about 1900, so it's definitely kind of coming up down, so it's definitely to be watched. I like watching Alcoa. The ticker is AA. They're very much involved with aluminum, but aluminum's not being very bullish, so kind of just been staying away. And it's not too bearish. It's just flat. So as far as making calls or puts, not really worth it. Platinum at 893, so it's kind of coming up. The deal with platinum is Anglo American Platinum. They had shut down one of their platinum mines from some type of incident. So that's taken a lot of platinum offline. But at the same token, the reality is that with this virus and just the panic ensuing on the markets, people just aren't going to go out and about. So this is basically really slowing the whole economy. So it's just going to be dynamic as far as we're March 8th. I got the calendar behind me, so I'll be putting some stuff up there. But, for the most part, I just put that up there because believe it's a red-breasted nuthatch. I like birds. So, March, I got the picture of my bird just to add some decor for my whole background. And then with copper trading at 2.5 per pound. And what else? Nickel trading at around 12,495 a ton in Great Britain funds. It's been as high as about $19,000 back in the last like 6 months. So, it definitely has come down. We'll see if that's going to come back up. I'm not really super bullish yet on nickel, but, it's definitely going to have one day. And palladium's kind of coming down. If you owned some palladium, I'd probably want to sell it 2407 because it seems though the whole Russians, that's what's kind of really crushing the whole markets with the whole crude and also with like natural gas and other things. What's happening is Saudi Arabia, like the OPEC, and also the Russians, they're really just just pushing out more oil, but there's going to be less demand because people aren't flying right now with this virus. So it's just we're in an economic free for all. So yeah. So I'd honestly, if I own palladium, I'd be selling it right now. It's more of a industrial metal for catalytic converters. It's not so much of a precious metal. Yes, it is a precious metal, but something like this, like silver or gold, is more of a precious metal, right? So, and natural gas at 1.64, and that's pretty freaking low. And crude oil coming back down. It hit a high of 34.8 today. It dropped from about 41.50 back on Friday, and it dropped down to $30.01. It didn't go into the 29 range, but damn close. And then it just started coming back up, try to fill that gap. Got to 34.80, and then now it's coming back down to 31.27. This is gonna be a nightmare tomorrow. If you own stocks in the broader market on the SPY, I'm talking about Apple, you're gonna get crushed. I mean, I think a lot of companies are just gonna get annihilated starting open tomorrow. I'm just gonna be straight up with you guys. It's gonna be freaking bloodbath out there. They are gonna try to stop the whole bleed, but they can only do what they can do. So so it'd be nice if some more people came in, but it's 6:30, so it is what it is. I'm sure people will come back in later. So anyways, that's pretty much what's up. Or I can go through my portfolios, watch list. It's damn slow. It's lagging. Yeah, so this is your silver coin. It's a Canadian maple. And another Canadian maple. And this is a 1/4 ounce gold with the bezel from Canada. And 1/4 ounce, and then it's also got that bezel thing around it. The bezel around it's 14 karat, and this is obviously 999. So it's pure gold, 1/4 ounce. There's a Scotia Bank 1 ounce silver ounce. So I believe in silver. I like Pan American silver. So Pan American silver is coming down from 17.6, coming down to 17.227. That'll be interesting for sure. We don't know how it's going to open. For all we know, that crude could be up to like $35, $36 in the morning, or crude could be at like $26. So what's another thing that we need to watch as well? Hey, Mike Johnson, how's it going? Where are you from? You're in the States, right? Is that correct? Or are you in Canada? I'm pretty sure that you said you're in USA. Yeah, so we're just talking a lot about commodities. Basically, crude just got annihilated. It went from $40 all the way down to 30.1 cents. That was the low of the day on WTI crude. And crude is the lifeblood of the SPY. They can try to kind of pump it up and stuff, all that, but at the end of the day, crude is definitely going to take control of the markets. Now we're also looking at. I can look on my cell phone. That I don't have to change over my on my cell phone to look at the bonds because that's what the experts that I watch. They tell me this stuff. I watch Gregory Manarino, and he's pretty much my mentor on YouTube for the financial markets. And he doesn't look into cannabis or like specific silver stocks or whatever. So I obviously do my own research as far as that stuff goes. But it's better to have more resources if you don't need them to have not enough resources when you need them. So the US 10-year yield is down 25%. That's big. It's down to 0.529, and the 2-year is at 0.327. Yeah, it's just cratering. We're looking at getting into negative yields. I said that on my Twitter last week. I said, you know what, if you think I'm crazy, but I honestly think we're going into negative interest rates. So I just listened to Josh at Trading Fraternity. Yes, I do know Josh from the Trading Fraternity. I sometimes I'm on his live streams, just interactive. But I don't really stay there for the whole day. But that's awesome, man. I don't know how you guys understood the TLT, man. I didn't understand that. Like, I guess it's the 20-year bond, but I honestly, I know people have been talking about it for a bit, but yeah, I know it gapped crazy. I know people made on the live stream. They made a ton on a. Oh, you did puts on. Sorry, you did puts on TLT, and you made money on them. I thought it spiked way up though. So I thought that's how people made money because I saw I thought it was like $165. So I don't know how you made. Did you buy them on like Friday when it was at the high, like maybe 170, and then it go down to like 165 on the put? Yeah, no, Josh is a very smart guy. He basically does lots of selling premium as well. So that's the safest way to play options. If you say you had like $200,000 worth of Apple, Microsoft, or whatever, and you want to just rent it, right? You don't want to deal with it, trade it, or whatever. And basically, what happens is you sell it to you're like the contract writer. So say you want to write the contract till like March 13th, March 20th, and you sell like 5-10 contracts to people. And worst case to worst is at the end of the day, if it hits your below your strike price, like for a put or above for your call, then you have to give them those shares, but you're going to get the contract, the premium. So, okay. So when SMI goes down, it goes up. Yeah. UVXY is the volatility index, and that's been really going up as well. Based on the volatility, basically whenever like things are getting crushed, I expect the UVXY should probably gap up tomorrow. Another one is I think it's the SQQQ. I believe that's the bear ETF for the SPY. So yeah, there's definitely companies like ETFs to play the downward thing. My game will probably be playing Apple puts, Apple calls, but at the same time, you can't be overly bearish. You can't be overly optimistic about like coming into the day because uh, the the plunge protection, they're going to do whatever it takes to try to keep the market up. So they're going to try to stabilize things. Come in the morning. Right now, See, the futures thing is like a lot of things can happen that don't really happen as much on the day to day. But if crude keeps going down, I mean, that's very, very bearish. I mean, you probably want to you want to sell anything you're in the profits for the most part, and just like start getting a bigger cash position because the market's just going to get annihilated. And then when things go to the bottom, then you can buy things for cheaper, things like that. Had you been, man, you've been killing it. Why haven't you been on the live streams and giving me this advice, man? I should have got UVXY when it first started, when the SPY first started going down, but I've been kind of late to that game because I was focusing on SPCE or Tesla and some other things, and I kind of got sidetracked about things like that. I mean, if you're doing your own kind of trading, it's hard to kind of find everything. But man, that's balling to be able to do the UVXY. There's like a guy named Famous Dave. He's commented on one of my Tilt Holdings videos, and he's really into the UVXY, the VIX. So he's a good guy to watch for the VIX. He's probably making a killing with the VIX right now. Because like that's the thing is, right, if you're a master at something and then all of a sudden things like go heading right in your direction, then just like the lane's wide open to make. Yeah, Mike Johnson, I wasn't I was actually kind of bearish on the virus going viral, to be honest. I didn't really think at first it was going to be that big. I kind of put it on the back burner. So, you know, short times can be the best move, right? I mean, or it can be a plan B. It can be a very good move as well. It might not be your best move, and it's usually not your best move, but it's never a terrible move. Yeah, so that's cool, man. That's awesome that you had the foresight to see that. But I'm just, the virus thing is what I want to explain to people is that the virus isn't really the reason why the whole economy is like going completely down. These things were gonna come about regardless because things were just getting so overinflated. When you see like Tesla at $1,000, just other things, they're just going to like way too high, and they've been pumping a lot of money. I'm scared, and like I don't know, it's crazy, man. But what I do, I got stuff like this and like this. So these things, this is done pretty good in the last like year or so. So things like that are good for me. Yeah. But I mean, for sure, I don't know how it's gonna happen for Monday, man. For people to be overly bearish, I mean, you gotta set your standards right. I mean, you can't just be like, okay, well, this is so bad, then it's just gonna get so much badder because all of a sudden things can just like they can just pump liquidity, and they can, if you had all these puts, they can make your puts worth less because it could push up like Apple, say like $10-20 and make your options worthless. So Mike Johnson says, yes, I agree, it was just a matter of time. And he says, oh yeah, what do you think about gold miners ETF? I've felt okay on gold miners ETFs in the past, but that's because my limited experience in understanding true big players in the gold miner space. So I think it was like HGU, I believe, is the Horizons gold ETF, and it's got like a whole host. But personally, I'd probably just go with one stock. I personally like Pan American Silver. Yes, they say Pan American Silver, but they do have gold now. They have gold. They're getting 625,000 ounces to 675,000 ounces in 2020. And then they also have 27 million in silver ounces. I also, okay, PAS. I'll write them down for you guys. KL, Kirkland. What else? NEM, NEM, um, wheat and precious metal. What else? Hmm, see if I can get into my watch list. I know. Oh, I know. One is gold, Barrick Gold. I think that's Barrick Gold. Gold. And then for silver, FEI. AG. But I personally like Pan American Silver a lot. I don't think they have too much debt. Companies like Newmont have very good track records. So, but at the same token, gold can go down, right? I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, for all we know, crude can go swipe back up to like 36, 37, $38. I haven't had hours and hours to understand the whole dynamics with the crude market. Uh, Thank you, Sheldon. Barrick ABX. Mm, is ABX? I think that's in Canada, Sheldon. I think in America it might be gold. But it could be wrong. Barrick's gold in America, so that's the ticker for him because he's in South Carolina. But yeah, ABX uh, in Canada. Yeah, that's sweet, man. I don't have any positions in any of those. Oh, no problem, bud. Um, uh, uh, yeah, and I don't have any positions in any of these companies at the moment. I'm looking for, the stars to align where it looks that crude's going to keep going down, or it looks that uh, gold and silver is going to go up, and then I will position myself potentially in like a one or two contracts for those picks. I like wheat and precious metal. I've done good on them on calls, and I like Pan American Silver, but silver is being lagged. It's at 1720 or something like that, but gold's been ripping, $1,700. So realistically, you're safer investing into gold. So I mean, I think NEM probably is your best bet for the gold miners. And then KL, Kirkland Lake, and yeah, Barrick Gold's another one. ABX, as Sheldon said, in Canada, and gold in America. Five Finger Lid says markets are crashing. Hey, good to see you, Five Finger Lid, and yeah, good to see you as well, Sheldon. So markets are crashing. Oil down 30%. Yeah, oil is down 30% or so. It's been getting crushed. My understanding is that without doing like 3 hours of research on the developments of how it got just crushed, is um, last week you see that it was at like 44, 45, and then it was slowly coming down on Thursday, Friday, I believe. And then you see that it went to about $41. And it was just like, it was just cratering. Like when I looked on the Bollinger Band, it just looked like it was going to keep coming down, but they wanted to slow it down. And yeah, I think you're on the ball, Sheldon Snow. That's what I was gonna say. The Russian and the Saudis are pushing a lot of oil out, and they're effing with USA crude. I believe that fully. So it's gonna be interesting, man. What is Trump gonna do to retaliate? It'll be freaking interesting because I mean, who knows how far low crude could go down to like $20. Like, man, that's going to be very sad, man. For some of these stocks, if you own a lot of like Apple and crude opens at $30, man, I can see a big freaking drop tomorrow. I'm talking like 30, 40, $50 drop. Yeah, the Russians and Saudis, man. I think you're right. Another thing to watch, if you guys just got into here, my mentor is Gregory Manarino. He's I've been watching him for about 3 years, but he's really become a very big YouTuber. He's got over 100,000 subscribers. I was watching him when he had about like 12,000 subscribers, and now everybody watches him because he's fucking like on the ball, even though he's kind of crazy and he's like, you know, pats his back about when he's being right all the time. But the guy's on the ball about a lot of things. Basically, what I've been following for a long time is the crude. If crude starts dropping, the market's going to drop. Now, if crude starts coming up, then your stocks are going to go up. But certain news things can change the whole thing. But for the most part, that's like the direction that things go. But then with the bond market, the bonds, I believe it's going to go to negative rates. US 10 years at 0.529. It got as low as like 0.48%, and that's down 25%. The US 2 year 0.327, down 31.47%. I mean, you're just looking at getting into negative rates. Japan has negative rates. Germany has a 10-year yield at minus 0.7%. You would want to buy a negative interest bearing bond. I mean, who? Yeah, so yeah, well, that's why you got things like this: gold and silver and silver. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting. What are you guys watching this week? What are you guys watching this week? I think I should be watching the mRNA and companies like SDGR. I'm not really that stoked about it, but I did get a small position in MindMed. I bought 500 shares at 62 cents. I want to get out of my position if I can get 80 to $1. But we'll see. See, on the TD, they says they have 4 million shares out, but then I saw somewhere else that it says their market cap's like 94 million. So I think like fully diluted is like 200 million shares out for MindMed. And when those shares get pushed onto the market, it's going to like get crushed. So yeah, there's going to be hype, but at the same token with MindMed is realistically, they're not in a legal market. It's just FDA. Okay. Sheldon Snow says, I am watching Oventive. Yes, Oventive is an interesting one. I have had call options in Canada, and that was when there was a Canadian company, but now they did the reverse split and they went to the States. So that's very interesting developments with Oventive. So it makes me a little bit cautious on the fact with the reverse split. I don't know. I also think that there's no until natural gas starts coming up, Oventive probably won't do very well. It's gonna probably roll with the price of natural gas. That's my opinion. Sheldon Snow says, "Nice coins, thanks, man." Yeah, I got this as well. I got it at the pawn shop. But yeah, the maples are pretty good. I'm sure you said you had them, but a lot of them get milk splotches on them, so they're not. I like 10-ounce Royal Canadian bars. Those are nice ones. Anyways, Mike Johnson says, "How is Canadian economy doing?" How is Canadian economy doing? Well, my dad, he works at a really luxurious television shop in northern Vancouver, and he says the economy is shit. And it's basically the same, all these big projects from being developed. So as far as commodities go, Canada is a very terrible place to be involved with commodities. But the Canadian cannabis market is starting to flourish. So that is one bright spot. I mean, people are kind of bearish on the whole cannabis market, but if you look at months over month, I mean, when the first started, it was like 45, 50 million a month, and now we're up to like 150 million a month. So, I mean, when we start seeing 200 million a month, but as far as I think that the Canadian economy, people are tapped out for the most part, unless they get some type of easier, cheaper interest rates on their houses. Maybe it can spur another kind of housing run up. But I'm not very bullish on the Canadian economy, Mike Johnson. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight. That's just my opinion. You can ask Sheldon Snow. He lives in Canada, but he lives in Northwest Territories. I'm in northern part of BC. I just talked to people across Canada. I talked to people from like East Coast, Nova Scotia. I just talked to people all over, but I don't always talk to them about the economy. Looking for a place to jumped into MindMed. Should have sold, but still holding. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that MindMed. It's hard to say, man. It's hard to say. I mean, realistically, it go to $2, $3, $4, but we don't know. They could be kept down. It could go to like 10 cents, or you go to 15, 20 cents. So I don't really think it's a very safe investment right now. I think it's very risky, but there's potential to make some. If there's a pump job anytime soon, we could definitely see it rocket. That was like, I don't think that Bruce Linton on the first couple of days when the price was going up like 50, 60, 80%, I don't think he was doing anything to really pump it up. It was just basically a lot of demand on Twitter, just hype going about. Some institutions might have won a position. Who knows? Some big money is involved. Mike Johnson says EEMHYGSCOTLT. Okay. So Mike Johnson, can you explain what those stocks are, if you don't mind? That'd be appreciative. I don't really have the time to just look at that. My browser's kind of slow, so I'm not going to know very much about these companies anyways if I look at them for a minute or so and like kind of ignore you guys. So if you could help me out, I mean, I will definitely look into those after the stream's done. And TLT is definitely interesting. You were saying that it goes up if the SPY goes down. I thought it was a 20-year bond, man. Like, there's not really very much clear information on the TLT. So if you guys just got in, it's a red-breasted nuthatch. Yeah, I like birds too. Sheldon Snow says that could be a Johnson Massey. They did do bars for Scotiabank. Yeah, Johnson Massey has very expensive bars, man. Like the 10-ounce bars have a nice premium on them. Johnson Massey, yeah. I don't have any Johnson Massey bars. There's Royal Canadian Mints that are in like storage units and stuff like that. But Mike Johnson says it's going to be a long crash. This oil thing will last for months. Yeah, man. I know that Buffett, apparently he's getting out of Canadian energy, I believe. I don't know. He said he's not investing in the Canadian government or something like that. So that's like a kick to the Canadian economy. So that's pretty much the story. I mean, the Canadian economy isn't very good. Trudeau doesn't really want to make the economy strong. So it is what it is. Lots of industries are going to die off. Some are going to start to flourish, such as Ontario. If Ontario starts having 200, 300 cannabis stores. Mike Johnson says, just wondering, and how is virus hurt it like it's cold weather? Yeah, I've heard similar responses as well, that if the weather gets warmer, that it will die off. I have my own conspiracy theories for what I've said to certain people. If I said that to my dad, he would just go like have a freak attack. But yeah, I talked to a few people about that. I found out about it from Cyberworld actually. But regardless, when he told me about it in a video, it was basically when he used to have like 200 people that would be live a day. And now sometimes there's like 4,000 people watching him at once. And yeah, no, he's a pretty cool guy. I bought his real estate course. I kind of like did the thing. It's like $50, and I kind of like learned a little bit about real estate investment. So he does the the stock options, and he's a long-term investor as well, but he likes playing the options, and he gets everybody to do push-ups when they're on doing the live stream, and to just be in a positive mindset and stuff. So yeah, if you guys want to learn more about options, I mean, he's a good guy to watch. He's got two channels, the Trading Fraternity Live and just the Trading Fraternity channel. One time, actually, he was like kicked off YouTube. So I was even watching him when he was on Twitch. So, yeah, so watch Trading Fraternity video tonight. Yeah, so he does the watch list. So, yeah, it's good to watch different people, learn from other people. I mean, I know there's some people on YouTube that think, well, you just got to watch me. I'm the most important person on all YouTube. Well, sorry to say it, but not one person has all the fucking answers. So, if you can learn from multiple people and stay humble, you're gonna do a lot better, in my opinion. Yeah, so he explains it better than I can. Sheldon Snow says Doug Ford gonna have to get his shit together in Ontario so cannabis can save the Canadian economy. Yeah, I think he's kind of setting himself up with his buddies to run dispensaries. That's my opinion. Maybe, or it's just getting bribed, or I don't know, maybe, or he's just lazy. Who knows? But I do think they are slowly, but it is definitely crimping havoc on companies like Canopy Growth and Aurora Cannabis that, they were kind of had an expectation that it's like a $3 billion market or $4 billion market all of a sudden. But, you gotta be prepared for the worst case scenario, right? Um, I had the, what was it, like a 220 put till March 27th on Apple, and I sold that this week. And I bet you tomorrow morning, man, that thing's gonna be worth a ton of money. But I had two of the contracts, and that was like my insurance, right, for the fact that this whole economy is in free for all. But the crude and the spy and all that stuff like that kind of messed with my head, that I was like, no, I think it's going to start going up again. So I just want to get out, but we'll see. I don't like holding these options overnight, man, because there's just random news that comes all about. So I don't mind buying an option during the day. I'm looking for a freaking like a killer manila, where if I can get, say, like Tesla, when it's like hits like a top, like it goes to like $700, and then it starts cratering down, and it goes down to like goes down $50 in like an hour or two, then it maybe, if I paid for the option like $1,000 in that hour, that'll reach like $1,500, $2,000, and I sell that option and I'm closed out of that option. Now, if it starts going up and I'm like losing $100, I'm out of that position, because I want to conserve my cash with the options. Because a lot of people with the trading fraternity, they blow up their account like no one's business, because they're like, oh, I want to get like 10, I want to get like 100 of these options that are like 10 cents, right? And there's like no chance of then hitting becoming worth anything. Okay, so Mike Johnson says, I'm only doing options now. Yeah, I mean, it conserves cash. I mean, that's pretty much what Wolf of Weed Street does. He basically does options, because if you look at a thing with like ACB or Canopy and you're really bullish on them, right? And say you wanted to have like $100,000 worth of stock, well, you could have owned like $100,000 worth of stock in options for, say, like, I don't know, $1,000 or $3,000, right? And so if you bought it when it was like $30, then those stock would be worth $50,000. But if you bought the options, like the worst case is they expire worthless, right? So he says, I only watch him, you, and David Frost. I don't know who David Frost is. I might have to watch him. Sheldon Snow says, all the cannabis money going to blow, I guess. Sniff, sniff. Yeah, I think you're right. LCI is the FDA nasal spray company. I'm watching that as well. I'd like to see it start to turn up, have a run like SPCE. Mike Johnson says, I wish they would legalize it in USA. Yes, I agree. They don't need to even legalize it. I would just really, really, really like to hear them pump the market in cannabis and do the Safe Banking Act so that companies like Trulieve and Curaleaf and Cresco, they can get like $300-500 million in debt that they can use to expand their business. So I like that. Mike Johnson says, just got news. Oil futures is down 1,200 now. Yeah, man. Oil is going to be very fucking volatile all in the next 24 hours, I believe, from now all the way till the morning and all throughout tomorrow in the stock market. So I'm going to pay lots and lots of respect to watching the oil commodity. Sheldon Snow says Ford's brother was mayor and got caught with hookers and blow. I was just trying to make a joke. Oh yeah, no, you're right. I know he got caught with. He was doing a lot of things. What was his name? So it's Rob Ford and. Anyways, they've had a lot of Fords, but yeah, no, they're definitely an interesting in Ontario. Some people really like him. Some people hate him. It's interesting. Yeah, Rob Ford. Yeah, Rob Ford. Right. Yeah, Ontario's been the laughing stock when they had Rob Ford. He was the laughing stock of Canada. It was basically as if people talk about Canada and then they talk Surrey, there's so many like hookers from Surrey. All these girls are so easy. They're from Surrey, like, and then it's just like Surrey, right? People think, oh, that's just all Canada, right? But it's just like one small dirty like city in Canada. I mean, there's some nice parts of Surrey. I'm not saying it's all bad. I spent time in Surrey. Mike Johnson says David Frost is the man that charts. His channel is called My Strategic Forecast. Right on. I'll check him out. Yeah, no, I like watching different people. I don't really watch too many people for the chart as far as like the fundamentals on certain things, especially the broader market. I mean, the broader market it's its own type of it's its own type of challenge, right? Not everybody's gonna have a fully good grasp on the broader market, and there's people that have way better knowledge on me than on the broader market, and I can grow my skill set from like this to like this and bigger by having a lot wiser people that have experienced a lot more. And on YouTube you can watch people for free, so that's awesome. All right, let's look at some of the other commodities going on. Oh, so gold's 1,700. So crude's coming down again. It's at 1,300. So what I think people need to pay attention to is most likely the way this hole is going to work out is that when crude starts coming up, that gold will start to sell off, right? So if you do have a gold position, you probably want to start, like, if you start seeing it really trending in a different direction, change of reversal, or, if you start seeing gold start spiking up, then crude's going to potentially go down. But they could both come up in tandem as well. So something to pay attention to. But as well as the bonds, trying to preach this. I know people don't understand this bonds. I'm pretty much one of the last people to kind of want to understand the bonds. I didn't want to understand the bonds, but after I saw the 10-year yield go below 1%, I was like, wow. Then I start to realize, like, yeah, we're going to go into negative interest rate. And it really like hit me, like just this light bulb came up on me. I'm like, wow. So, excuse me. Sometimes you just have to have experiences and then they compound and then you get that sense of knowledge going on. So, do you guys got any other questions or anything like that you want to talk about? I don't have any problem talking about lots of things. I mean, we can talk about the coronavirus stocks, mRNA, SBGR. What else? CODX. CODX. What other ones? Sanofi. Well, I think I have the. Try to find my watch list for this. If you guys got some one, if gold starts to go up as well and crude's going down, most likely that the coronavirus stocks will be in play. But at the same time, you probably don't want to buy it at the high of the day. Like if it spikes up a lot, you just don't want to like chase it, right? Oh, I know another thing to watch is United Airlines, UAL, and China Eastern Airlines, CEA, China Southern Airlines, ZNH, and Southwest Airlines, LUV, American Airlines, AAL, and Westco Aircraft, WAIR, and Delta Airlines, DAL. So if you're watching, if you're trying to play puts on airlines, but if it drops hard, I mean, just wait because you're probably going to be paying way too much for the premium. So let it like come up and then come down if you want to. I mean, you got to be very sneak attack and sniper and stuff like that. So these are just ideas. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment information purposes. Do not buy or sell based on anything I talk about. Gotta do your own research, due diligence, and play with money that you aren't afraid to lose, especially with options. Okay, so Sheldon Snow says, what is your best Canadian marijuana retailer? They all seems really cheaper right now. High Tide, Meta Growth, Choom. Well, I think I like them for the most part all, but they all have pretty weak cash positions. I think I like Meta. But I think I like Fire and Flower a lot. But at the same time, they don't have a lot of cash, so that's the concern. I kind of like Troom, even though there's like 200 million shares out, because I think they're doing really well in Ontario. I think that Niagara Falls store. The thing is that I don't know. Companies, they're expanding. I'm not super bullish on the whole retailers right now. I also sold some of my True Leave actually because I figure that like I wanted to protect cash. I want to get into a bigger cash position. So I sold some True Leaf just to I mean, it wasn't the smartest idea to sell it right then. I could have sold it for a higher price before, but I'm just looking at the markets and the crude going down. Like this could go down. So for all we know, companies like Valens and Labs and True Leave and Cresco and some other ones that are in cannabis, they could get rocked hard tomorrow. They'll probably try to bounce back sometime through the day. But I mean, Sheldon, I'm not gonna say I really can recommend any cannabis retailer in Canada yet until they become, I don't know, they just become better players. Mike Johnson's watch United Healthcare, UNH, if our healthcare system gets swamped. Interesting. So you're bullish on UNH? Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I know Teledoc. Teledoc's a good one. T-Doc. I know Rich TV was talking about him, but I liked it when Jim Cramer talked to the guy on Teledoc. They're kind of overvalued, right? But as far as a swing trade or a day trade, I would consider doing options on T-Doc potentially, or even buy 5 shares or something like that. So if it moves, say $15, $20 in a day, but I'm not sure. Sheldon Snow says they all around 13 cents. Yeah, there's a lot of cannabis Canadian retailers that are very low. Now, I do think there will be a green light when we start seeing say I don't know the date that it was supposed to happen, but there was some type of date uh that they were going to announce that when the license are coming through for all these retailers in Ontario. So when that starts to happen and like then they get availability when they're going to start the stores, that's when you're going to start to want to probably play like Fire and Flower, Meta, High Tide, but they all don't have very good big cash positions. I think Fire and Flower is a little more sustainable because they have backing from Couche-Tard, but I don't know. Mike Johnson says even hemp flower is high in USA. Hmm. High in USA? What do you mean? Bearish. You also you're bearish on United Healthcare if your healthcare system gets swamped. Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of the what people don't also understand is with these banks, the banks they like loan a ton of money to crude players, you know, to like Suncor. Suncor's got like tons and tons of debt, right? There's other big oil players that got tons of debt, right? So the financials are tied towards Suncor and these other companies, right? So now when the price of oil goes down, that's messing with their ability to pay their loans. So it's that's why it's a crude market, right? When crude goes up, the market goes up until Tesla starts to take over the market or something like that, and it's not so controlled by all oil, then that's just the way things go. I mean, people are like, well, no, it's different. That's not the way. I'm like, no, it's pretty much if crude goes down, the market goes down. And then the bond yield too, when the bond starts going down too. Teledoc is already up too much, Mike Johnson says. Yes, I agree. You are right. It probably has gone up a lot. Yeah, no, I know. I'm almost looking for. I'm looking for a reversal on some of these coronaviruses, like say, like I don't know, mRNA. When say it goes to like $30 or $40, I don't know. Like it just hits a big spike that I would get like a $30 put for like 1 to 2 weeks out and then like make 20, 40, 50% in like an hour or 2 hours when it drops lower. And I could roll it over to a lower put, like say instead of having the 30 put, do like a $20 put, but we'll see. I'm not gonna rush into doing one of those trades. Like just the stars gotta align and things gotta make sense. Like I can't rush into those trades on the put side because there's a lot of momentum on those companies that are doing the coronavirus, but that would be like when there's a vaccine that's available, then yeah. Mike Johnson says price is high for legal hemp flower and oils. Yeah, could very well be high. South Carolina, yeah, probably not. I mean, I think in places like Oregon, you're going to get a lot cheaper for cannabis, but yeah, in places like South Carolina and Illinois and stuff like that, it's just very new to the medical and all that stuff like that. So things are a little more expensive. But if you go to states that have been around for a lot longer, like 1, 2, 3 years, then the price can go, it's going to be cheaper. Hey, Jason, when is infused beer going to be available? That's a good question. Infused beer. So CBD has infused beer. Well, I don't know if it's like an infused beer. It's a CBD beverage. So I wouldn't call it really like an infused beer. But regardless, the CBD beverage from Tilray, their brand is Every EVER. I'll write it down. They have teas. They got 10 milligram 3 tea bag CBD packages, or they have a beverage of the CBD. I've seen it on the East Coast. I think it was like Newfoundland or Nova Scotia. They had a launch. I also think that Valentine's should be any day now. Like it could be the end of the week. Could be 2 weeks from now. I don't know when Canopy Growth will have it. I also heard I haven't told people this, but the people at the dispensary told me that MedRelief San Rafael 71, they're gonna have beverages. So apparently they're supposed to have like Tangerine Dream, which is their best sativa strain. They're supposed to have beverages in that. So I think if that gets going, that could be very popular. And they probably have it in the Pink Kush. So I like that idea, but I don't know when they're going to be to market. I think Valens will be probably be the second to market. Zenobus could be the third potentially, but I mean, I don't know. I think they're pretty close to having their production sometime maybe in April. I know Canopy should have had their beverages out for a long time, and then Hexo should have their beverages out. So we'll see. I mean, I don't control these things. You like the only people that know the best would be these insiders, but I do know that Tilray does have the CBD beverage, and Valens seems to be coming to market very soon. So that's great for Valens. I do have a pretty decent position. Mike Johnson says electric cars are the future. Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about it today. I was having a little like conundrum in my head. I'm like, you know what? This is almost having an electric car is that you don't have to pay gas, right? Because especially if you've got a truck, right? You got a truck and it can easily cost you $150 to fill up, right? But if gas prices all of a sudden, out where I'm at, it's like 114. I can honestly see that the price of oil at the pumps go down to about like 95 this week. Maybe not, but that's pretty freaking low. So that makes it more bearish for Tesla, in my opinion, based on the fact that there's just it's so cheap just to fill up the gas tank. But I mean, there's definitely a lot of oil available on the market, and it's just getting flooded. So yeah, I think electric cars will be the future, but not as fast as everybody thinks they are. Maybe like 5-10 years, but we'll see. Mike Johnson says, which one tastes good? I don't know, man. I don't know. They already have like a True Buck, so they just need to get the infused CBD or the infused THC in the beverage, and that should be good. I like the kombucha, and I think a lot of like yoga people and mainstream people really like kombucha. But I think I'll try that. I think the Hexo beverages will probably be very tasty. I think the Canopy beverages will probably be pretty good, and the Hexos will be really good. And I think the Valens will be very good. When Valens does the Pommies apple cider, I think that'll be very good as well. So, I mean, I think all of them can be very good, but I can't tell you what's going to be the best tasting drink because they're not available, right? I can only tell you that I have tried the CBD tea from Every, and I have tried the THC sativa tea from Terrace End. Haven Street is their brand. So, hey, James Rossman, you're back again. Glad to see you. If you haven't hit the like, people that come in, I appreciate if you hit the like. What's up, man? Can't be here for long today, but did you ever look into private jet companies? Yeah, I think I did, but what am I supposed to do with a private jet company, right? I can't, if it's a private jet company, it doesn't have a stock ticker, so I don't know what I can do with it, right? Like I know Helijet is in BC, so that's a company. I have a friend I went to high school with, and he finances Helijet, so I don't know, man. I don't know what I can do with that information. I mean, I think it's a great information, but I don't know how I can use it in the markets yet. So, but I appreciate your insight and your thoughts. So, yeah, no, it's awesome to see you here again. Hi, JG. Good to see you here. I like the Rivian truck. The Rivian truck, yeah, I think I like the Cybertruck, to be honest. I think the Cybertruck from Tesla seems pretty cool. Hell, but the Rivian truck might be even nicer. I haven't really like looked at it from all angles, like on the specs and all that stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it would be very interesting to have one of those. I mean, I'm sure you pull up to the not the gas station, or yeah, you could just pull up to the gas station and get some like snacks, and you're like, yo, what's up? I'm cooler than I don't have to even get gas, but I'm just gonna get some snacks. and then when you leave, like finger all these people that are paying a bunch of money for gas. I got a sick twisted mind. So, anyways, Mike Johnson says gas price here $2 now, but it will go down now. I agree, man. It's scary out there, man. People with their 401ks, man. My mom, she's got like big 401k. I was like, look, mom, you probably want to put money into dividend funds, and it wouldn't hurt to put some money into cash because these markets are gonna get destroyed. And I was like, no, my guy from BMO, I trust him because he told me they just have cycles and blah blah blah. I'm like, this isn't no cycle thing. There is a big freaking debt bomb. There's a debt bomb that's gonna explode and it's gonna destroy people. I think this could be a very big destruction towards the housing market, but we'll see. Sheldon Snow says Valens releasing a beverage this week in Ontario. Yeah, that's great. I did look at the news release. I didn't remember exactly the date, but that's awesome. Yeah, no, I think Valens will have very good beverages. I'm pumped on Valens. I bought 200 shares of Labs at the end of the week, and I didn't buy the Valens. I was looking at the Valens, but I'm like, Labs is pretty cheap, and they already have the vapes that seem to be doing pretty good. They got Northern Lights, which is a very popular indica strain for their vapes, the 510 C Cell by Tilt vapes, and they also got the Blue Dream Wayfarer 510 C Cell thread cartridge. So I think those are doing very well, especially the Northern Lights. So I like that they're not just doing products for other people; they already have their own brand. But I mean, they both have great things. My only negative towards both those companies, and I mean, a lot of people don't understand this stuff, but they basically have less cash than they did last quarter based on some of these LPs not paying them up front, right? So it's called like accounts receivable. So the accounts receivable is stacking up, right? So they need to get that money from these companies like Hexo that aren't paying, right? Because they're have very low liquidity, and they just. Sheldon says Valens will be the first. Yeah, the first. We're the first. Yeah, no, Valens. Valens is a very great story. I just want them to get paid by all their players and build their cash position, and as well get that NCIB going. Start buying back their shares when when it's getting heavily shorted. If they can just pump. Take off like 1 million shares off the market, something like that. That'd be awesome. Mike Johnson says, I like Cybertruck too, and the Ford truck is coming soon. Are you talking about a Ford electric truck? A lot of these Tesla bulls, they're very alienating about all the other companies. But what I've also heard from these Tesla bulls is that they think that Tesla will just license out all the information towards the vehicles and like the batteries and all that stuff like that. So in April, they're going to do like battery day. So that'll be very interesting how things shake out. But Snow says, I heard Ford was making an electrical plug-in network across the USA for all EVs to plug into. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about Ford. I just know that there's people out there that believe that Ford and GM should be worth a lot higher. They think that they should be worth more than Tesla's worth combined or on their own almost. But the thing that I'm bearish about Tesla is that they got, I think it was like 10 or 13 billion dollars in debt, and their cash position I think is like 6 billion or something like that. So they got a lot of cash, but the debt is kind of a concern. Now, if they were to do like killing it as far as everything goes in China in 2020, then that's locked and loaded, and that's great. But what we're seeing with this virus and all this like slowdown in the markets, that this should really have a big negative effect on companies that were working in China. Apple, I think Tesla, Elon Musk is trying to like, lower it. Like, no, it's not. It's okay. We'll be fine. But I think we are going to see when they report the next financials that they're going to be not very great, and that won't be good. So the market's trying to price in these things right now, in my opinion. Mike Johnson says, yes, Ford Electric, the Mustang is out now very fast. Ford, the Mustang. There's a Ford Electric Mustang? Really? That's pretty fucking cool. I had a Mustang. I had a Mustang for like 2 to 3 months. It was a 2006 Mustang GT V8, and some guy drove into me in the intersection. So I only had like 2 months. It was destroyed. I had like such a sweet sound system in there too. So, but that's like terrible for where I'm up right now, because it's rear wheel drive. It's terrible for driving the snow. So Sheldon Snow says, looks like the Camaro is next from GM. 80 muscle cars are freaking out now. EV muscle cars. Really interesting. I got to look into this stuff, man. That could be very bullish for some of these cars, because, I mean, people like Teslas, but Teslas are kind of boring looking, in my opinion. I mean, people like to be like, oh, well, it's got the nice little logo and all that stuff, but I don't know. I'm not very stoked on their cars, to be honest. The Cybertruck's got a cool look, but it also has a negative look to it. I mean, like, I'm not completely stoked on its look. I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10, but there's like definitely cars that are way nicer looking, like 80s muscle cars and all that stuff that are way cooler looking than a Tesla, in my opinion. I am bullish on Ford long-term stock down now. Yeah, I know David Modell looks at that stuff. They definitely are pretty low. They've been around a long time. Yeah, it'd be interesting, man. It just, the market needs to be behind it, right? Just because me or you is bullish on Ford doesn't mean the market will be. So you kind of just got to pick your spots, right? If you're trying to buy stock, but at the same time, I mean, there's always a reason. Maybe you bought like 100 shares and you think it's going to go 2 to 4x from in the next 2 years or something like that. I mean, there's ways to play it. I mean, you got to make your own decisions and all that stuff and live with the risk and the consequences in the market. I mean, fuck, I've had to deal with a lot of negative consequences in the market, picking really shitty stocks like Suniva, and even like, I like Zanabis, their business, but their stock is complete crap. But I still think that they have potential to really bring up the stock price, but I'm not going to tell anybody to buy that stock. But yeah, the debt's definitely pressuring them. Mike Johnson says, we got to buy us one, man. And Sheldon Snow says, Mike, I like it too long term. And Mike Johnson says, yes. And Sheldon Snow says, wait till the Bronco comes out again. Yeah, the Bronco was a pretty cool truck. Hell yeah. Mike Johnson says, gotta buy us one, man. JG says, Tesla sucks. Elon is full of baloney. Yeah, I don't know. I think Elon's a good guy. I don't think he's the worst CEO in the world. I think he's a legitimate, genuine, nice guy for the most part. I'm sure he enjoys being a billionaire. And I think he's made very smart ideas and investment. The way he's managed his business, I think it was very intelligent for him to raise money at $700. But yeah, I mean, I don't agree with the market cap for Tesla. People don't understand that, but I think it's a little overinflated. Still at these prices, I think there's definitely a reason to think that Tesla can definitely go down to like $300-$400 for sure. So there's definitely a very bearish case for Tesla. So James Rossman says, have a good night, man. Real interesting insight as usual. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Glad to have you here. You have a great end of your Sunday. Stay tuned in the markets. It's going to be very volatile. UVXY, the volatility index kind of ETF. I'll try and join as often as I can this week if you're streaming. Yeah, I haven't really been streaming during the week. I mean, I did do a stream, or I did do a channel. Like I do videos from time to time, sometimes in my car, and then sometimes in here. When there's a lot of information overload that, I just want to get it off my chest, and I don't mind sharing my information with you guys. So yeah, but as far as necessarily doing a stream during the week, I don't know if I'll do one during the week. It'll be a surprise if I do. But if you're on my Twitter at Compound Stock 13, or if you're subscribed and you hit the notification, then you'll be notified when I do go live. But that's just something to know. JG says something mean, so I'm not going to repeat it. But Reefer Al Joyce says, "What the f? 1,200 point pre-markets poop." Yes, yes, Reefer Al Joyce. I agree. It's a bloodbath. We've been chatting on here for about an hour, and now the dogs down below want to howl. I don't know if you can hear them. They want to howl. They like to pretend like they're wolves, even though they're little like chihuahuas pretty much. My opinion is basically, and Sheldon agrees with me, is basically that the crude is getting crushed because Russia's and Saudis are flooding the market with crude. The bond, the 10-year bond is going down. It's like getting into the range of negative bearing bond interest. So, it's not at negative, but that's the direction it's going. They're talking about in the end of March to be a 7.75 interest rate cut. So it's definitely heading in that direction for negative interest. And QE, quantitative easing. There's not quantitative easing right now. Right now, it's like repos and stuff. So it's definitely going to be volatile. But the big thing is just basically crude down. I don't know what it's at right this minute, but it was at like $41 on Friday. And then when it opened up, it went down to like $30.01. And then it slowly went up to like 34. So that's a big drop. And if you've been following my channel, like I've been talking about this a lot, the oil, when oil goes down, the market's generally going to freaking go down. And when oil goes up, the market's generally going to go up. So it's kind of going in that way. And the gold usually goes the opposite way of crude, but sometimes they go in the same direction. So Mike Johnson says, "Hell yeah, I would enjoy being billionaire. He will be first man on Mars." Yeah, I agree. It would be very nice to be a billionaire. I'm hearing stories about Dan Bilzerian, basically with his billions of dollars, or I don't think he's a billionaire. He's like got 100 million or 200 million or something like that. But basically, he's got a big mansion in San Diego or somewhere in Beverly Hills, I guess. That's where Mike Johnson. That's where the trading fraternity guy is at. So he's like driven past Dan B's house. But anyways, he's got like all these different levels in his house, right? Where like certain people can be at, and some people they're not allowed it there. But he just invites like 300 freaking like women there, right? And they can get their nails done, they can get massages, they can get like makeup done, their hair done. So they're all getting pampered, right? And then he just invites them over, and then like he just has all this opportunity of women. But he's got like he was dating that girl Kate. So yeah, it would be nice to be. You don't even need to be a billionaire, man. Just like have like 20 million or something like that. Definitely have a nicer life than, or the ability to do things that I can't do right now, right? I can't just go and buy like a $500,000 vehicle, right? Like a Lamborghini Countach or a Diablo or something, right? So that'd definitely be cool. JG says, CSIG will rock your skull. Yeah, boy. We rocking people's skulls one skull at a time. JG says, cannabis stocks go one way down. Yeah, no, you're right. You definitely got to be careful. I wouldn't. I think you're in. If you have a lot of cannabis stocks, generally speaking, the markets want to come down in like April. But there's a thesis that this could potentially ignite the whole catalyst for the cannabis market, where people are like in a big recession. to go to sin stocks such as alcohol and cannabis, right? So there's a reason, but at the same time, you may want to take some shares off of my Truly position on Friday just to get into a bigger cash position. And I also I bought 100 shares of GRWG, which I like at 470. But there's definitely an argument that it could definitely go down further. So, but that's why I didn't load up a ton of GRWG. But it was like the lowest it's been in a while. Reefer Al Joint says oil dropping under 50 a barrel triggers layoffs on rigs. Yes, they really don't like oil being below $50. $60. That's like they really like it above $60. Yeah, no, it's not good for the oil sector at all. But this may just be the bottom of crude, or maybe in the next week or so, it may hit the bottom, maybe like $24 or something like that. And then all of a sudden, we're going to start seeing it go back up to $40 or $50. So I don't know. I don't understand how things are going to work out exactly, but you just have to trade the market you're in and understand that the oil price is going to affect big stocks like Apple and all your other stocks for the most part. I mean, if you got really good news in certain stocks, it won't affect it as much, and it'll be like, just ignored completely, and it'll just like boom up. But Mike Johnson says Elon will be first man on Mars. Yeah, Mars would be an interesting place to be. Reefer Al Joint says whole town's going to go broke near drilling. Yeah, there's definitely an argument for some ghost towns going to happen. Yeah, no, it's not good, man. It's not good at all. And JG says I'd rather have family than money any day. No, you guys make a great point. I miss my brother. But I still have my family, but I don't have my brother. My brother was with me for 34 years of my life. So I can't talk to my brother anymore. So that's definitely, that adds a lot of emptiness inside me sometimes. So, you can't really change that by having like $50,000 in your pocket. I mean, sure, you can maybe buy friends or whatever, but they're just going to be faked, right? So there's definitely an argument for, of course, you got to be nice to each other and take care of your family, whatever you can do to make your family happier. You guys can just build a family. And when you're good to your family is probably going to be better to you. So, yeah. Sheldon Snow says, yep, that's right, JG. And JG says, I'd rather have my dogs than millions. Money is printed paper. I treat it like that also. Yeah, this is real money. Real money. But this is real money. Real money. Real money. Real money. Everything else is just debt. It's just a debt-based economy, right? So used to be, right? This used to be our coins. We go into the stores, right? Like 25 cents would have been 90% silver, right? And then they took the junk silver off the market. Like, that's so crazy, right? They call silver junk, like junk silver, right? But they had to take it off the market because it was too valuable. I mean, think about that, right? It's the same type of synopsis with how like hemp is bad, right? Like back like in the 50s or whatever, when there's like the prohibition with cannabis, right? Cannabis is bad, but then they're okay giving people opiates or all these crazy drugs, right? Like, oh, we'll just we'll give you steroids, we'll give you this, we'll give you that. We'll like we'll cut off all your brain. We'll do surgery in your brain. It's just like the whole system's so flawed. So, anyways, I treat it like that. Yeah, no, JG's right. I wish I had a dog as well. Dogs. My friend, she's from Courtney, BC, and she's concerned with me because my brother died, and she basically says that I should go to the SPCA and go pet some dogs or maybe go for a walk with a dog, but I haven't found out where that is. I haven't done my research. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely dogs have a nice way to, you know, you just don't get that. Reefer Out Joint says, nah, Russia successfully destabilized the Mid East and took over the oil market. Who's going to stop Putin? Interesting. Interesting, man. Interesting. I don't know, man. I think that China and Russia are connected. I think so, man. You know, there's people on YouTube that say that uh China is just gonna buy all the gold. They're gonna like own the gold, and then they're gonna be like the whole like the leader of the whole economy, right? So I don't know. There's definitely countries that don't are sick of having USA being in control of like so much power in the world. So there's definitely yeah, Putin probably would definitely want to stop USA. So who knows, man? It'll be definitely interesting how things shake out. And there's going to be a lot of lies floating around in the news from guys like Larry Kudlow and all these guys from CNBC. The coronavirus. This is coronavirus. Coronavirus is bad. Coronavirus. It's like, oh yeah, well, what happened to the oil yesterday? Oil only went down like $10 in like super fast. But no, it's the coronavirus. It's like, no, the oil price went down. So that's why the SPY and any of your stocks are going to get annihilated. Yeah, there is a reason why in the coronavirus that people maybe not be using as much oil because they're not doing the tourism and all stuff like that. But it's a lot bigger whole dynamics than just to like blame it on this. And they're using it as a scapegoat. And I don't want to go too far off the deep end in this stuff, but I feel pretty strongly about that information. JG says that's metal USA. Yeah, well, this is Canada. I don't know. See what the price of crude's at. I think I'm gonna get going in a little bit, but if you guys got some other things to talk about, I'm glad to address them. We've been live for an hour and 25 minutes, so it's cool. 30.59. Wow. Yeah, doesn't look very good at all. Man, if oil starts going down to 20s, man, wow. I suggest if some of your stocks, if they start like coming up or whatever, I try to get into a bigger cash position without losing any money or whatever, like on things. I'd recommend. Excuse me, and we're also looking at silver and gold stocks at KL, NEM, gold. EBX. Sheldon Snow says the axis of evil, their ties there. I think they playing chess and Trump playing checkers. I think you're right, man. I think you're right. I think they're not as stupid as people think they are. China and Russia are probably in tandem. They want to destroy the U.S. because it's the U.S. oil dollar, right? So they want to destroy that. All right, Mike Johnson, good night to you, man. I was glad to have you in here. You gave me some picks I'm going to look at later. Take care, man. Yeah, be careful with your options trading, but I'm happy you had some very good success with TLT and what other one did you have success? Anyways, yeah, peace out, man. Let's go back. Reefer Out Joint says China insulted Russia, tried to turn Putin's economy into a beggar's economy. Aggressive. Interesting. Yeah, man. Reefer Al Joint's really on point with this information, man. I'm glad to have you here. Good IQ for this intel. So aggressive, yeah. Uh, Mike Johnson says may lead to war. Turkey already a flashpoint. Yes, I think they definitely. There's definitely uh, an insight that the price of oil is not where the USA wants it to be, and they may want to get going with the war thing and pump the prices up. Who knows when that's going to happen, but it wouldn't surprise me if it happens soon. They also have the rate cut coming in the 17th. They're preparing for that, and probably QE. They're probably going to start QE sometime. Just pump more and more and more and more and more money into the market. But they still got to have more control over these oil markets. So Mike Johnson says, newsflash, Japan stock market dropped 6%. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to be the only, like, the S&P 500 is not going to be the only market that's going to get dropped. I think there's probably a lot of negative news, but for all we know, Apple could go to like 220 in the morning or whatever, or 240 or 250, something really low, right? And then all of a sudden, like, oil starts creeping up, and then at the end of the day, Apple ends at like 270. So if I'm to get a call till say like March 20th for say like a 280 call, and it goes up like $20 to $30 within a day, I'm gonna make money hand over fist. So I'm definitely gonna watch it. It doesn't matter if it goes up or down. I'm just neutral. I'm not going to be biased on whether it's bearish or bullish as far as the broader market. It can make money going up or down, but yeah. Newsflash: Japan stock market drops. Sheldon Snow says, "Good night, all. Thanks, CSGA." Yeah. Sheldon, if you want to get into options or whatever, you can watch Trading Fraternity. He's got a lot of insight on that. And if you haven't watched my video I did yesterday on how I was managing $75,000 to $90,000 of contracts on Apple. They're basically coupons, right? But there's a lot of power behind it, and just you gotta look on the 1 hour and the 5 minute candles, or the 1 minute candles and stuff like that, and look for things to go up and down. But again, it takes a lot of experience and stuff like that, and you no need to rush that stuff or whatever. But I'm glad to have you in here tonight, Sheldon, and we'll see you in next week. And China's 4%. Yeah, man, it's gonna be definitely interesting, Mike Johnson. You got some other stuff. Corona death rate in USA 521 infected. Isn't that above? I don't know, man. I don't know. Corona death rate in USA 21. Yeah, that looks like about a 5% reefer out joint. That looks at about a 5% death rate. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be some negative news. So yeah, JG, things change from minute to minute rate. Who knows? And we don't know the data rate. We don't know the source, how correct it is. Reefer out joint says, JG, you staying warm? Man, I just can't believe this. 0.529. Well, it seems to be stabilizing, I guess. So it's kind of good. No, it's at 0.493. Wow. I just refreshed it. 0.493 for the 10-year. And I think oil's going down, man. This is looking very bad. JG says, hell yeah, I rode motorcycle today. It was sweet. Wow, you got a motorcycle. That's good. I wish I had a motorcycle, but I'm kind of scared. I got in a car accident with a motorcycle. But If you guys got anything else to talk about in the markets or something like that, I can stay for another like 5 or 10 minutes. But if not, I'm just gonna get going in the next couple minutes or a minute or so. So just let me know. Uh, yep, definitely gonna watch the gold market tomorrow and silver market. This is Soleil. This is an Afria brand. So this is CBD oil. It's called Free. So you can get the best like the best value for your dollar if you buy CBD oil in oils versus capsules or THC oils versus like the edibles, right? So for example, I get about 350 milligrams of CBD here, and this was like $25. And if I was to spend the same amount of money pretty much in capsules, I would pay more if you get it in capsules and definitely more in edibles. So JG says VFF earnings on the 11th. Okay, so that would be on Wednesday. I got my good calendar. So it's not just a nice little bird. It's gonna help me with my calendar, keeping on check which day is day, instead of having to go to Google and ask what the day is. So, yep, it's good to have resources to help me out. And Reefer Out Joint says, catch you later. Yeah, peace, buddy. Take care in the market. Just remember, cash is king, and be very careful. Very volatile market out there. And JG says, take care, Reefer. Yeah, JG, I think I'm going to get going too. If you guys want to talk to me on Twitter as well, you can send me a message or whatever. I can talk to you, but if there's nothing anymore you want me to look at or whatever right now, I'm just going to get going. Talking for about an hour and 35 minutes. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this session. Talking a lot about, China market, coronavirus, crude oil, gold, silver, talking about cannabis companies, talking about coronavirus vaccine companies, gold stocks, the biggest and the baddest, talking about the bond yields. The bond yields a very important thing to look at watching this week. If the bond keeps going down, expect the market to free fall as well. If the bonds start coming up, that'll be probably very bullish for the market. So it's pretty much what we were talking about. I had some very great guests on the live stream that were very engaging. So I appreciate everybody that was engaging in this live chat. We discussed a lot of intelligent people around. So enjoyed it very much. So anyways, keep compounding your info, listen to my lingo, and shaka, ka, peace. I'm out.